8 hours to do brakes.
I feel like that's like more than plenty time.
Yeah.
So far is, I don't know why other people didn't have, so we're just drilling into it. I'm just gonna ask you if it's, go on!
Yeah, the handbrake's up and the car's moving.
Absolutely smoking.
What's up, guys? New video today. We are gonna be doing something pretty cool. A lot of you guys may know that there is a TL Type S to 8th gen Brembo swap. I got all the parts in, and right now what I'm doing is, here, let me show you. So I am spray painting the calipers right now. And it's, you know, looking pretty good. But basically before that, to prep it, I had to use sandpaper. I used 180 grit, and I didn't have a sander, so I had to do it by hand. So hopefully it turns out well. And then I'm gonna be putting the stickers on. I covered up like all of every single bolt and hole, because I don't know which one needs to be covered up and which one doesn't, so I just covered all of them. And now I'm spray painting it. Gonna do 3 coats, and then I'm gonna do 2 coats of clear coat. This is the start to the Brembo swap. So guys, today it is the brake installation day. I am gonna be putting everything in my car. I never showed you guys what the brakes looked like after they were, or the calipers looked like after they were done. Not too bad for my first what's it called, caliper job. I know it looks a little stupid there, but that was just because there was tape over it. Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing the brake change today with Parsa and Ben. I'll try to show everything. This is kind of like a installation video with the 3 best mechanics in the world. So yeah. All right, guys, we're back at Parsa's house. Yeah. Let me show you what you need real quick for this Brembo swap. So we're doing the TL Type S to 8th gen Brembo swap. So basically you take the Brembos off of a TL Type S and you put it onto my car. You do need to do some modifications, but we'll show you guys all that. Okay, so basically this is what you need. So I actually just picked these up. Those are the brake caliper bracket bolts. I just got them from O'Reilly's. Next, you need I got EVC blue stuff, brake pads. They're like a street track pad. Then I got EVC blue stuff for my 8th gen Civic. So these are the Acura TL Type S. These are 8th gen Civic. These are the rear ones. Then I got .4 brake fluid, picked it off of Amazon. And then I have like a 10 millimeter. Hopefully we don't lose this. Then the calipers, I painted them. And yeah, these are the calipers that come off of the TL Type S. And then those are the bracket. These are like the stuff to hold the brake pads in. We'll show you all that later. And then I picked some 5 millimeter spacers off of Amazon too, because you need to put 5 millimeter spacers behind the brake rotor. Brake lines, stainless steel brake lines. These are for the 8th gen Civic, not the TL Type S. Then my friend Min, the guy I picked up the wheels from. So originally we got Brembo rotors. Now it didn't fit because the nominal size, basically the thickness of it when it's new, is supposed to be 25. The one I got was 26. 28. And the minimal thickness is supposed to be 23, and what I got was 26. Also, I believe these are 310 millimeter in diameter, so the other ones were 300. And then this is the brake master cylinder. You need the brake master cylinder from the TL Type S. So yeah, it's basically brand new. I picked this up from a guy on Facebook Marketplace. Oh, and then extended studs, yeah. I'm going to be running some extended studs just because there is a lot of stuff that have to go in front of the hub. So I want to make sure that it will reach my wheel. I don't think it would with the stock ones. Oh, and this is a 9/16 drill bit. You are going to need to run this because you do need to drill out the brake caliper mounting holes. Because right now, I don't know what size they are. They may be like a 7/16 or something. You need to go to a 9/16.
All right, guys. So we ran into our first issue, and we haven't even jacked up the car yet. The caliper bolts we got do not fit, and Shane only got 2 of them instead of 4. So we're gonna go return them real quick, and then try to get the correct ones. We brought a caliper with us, and Parsa jack is at someone else's house, so we had to go get that as well.
Another thing is the spacer, the 5mm spacer is supposed to fit behind the rotor, and it doesn't fit in the hole. So that's, God willing, that's not a problem. Hopefully the ones that I have on right now would fit. So yeah. Okay, so
We spent 30 minutes in O'Reilly's.
yeah. So it says you need like a what, M12 1.25 or something like that.
That's what it says on their like.
Yeah,
machine.
and for some reason it's like a 30mm bolt. Anyways, we were bringing out all the bolts and whatever. So you need a M14 1.5. We got a 43mm bolt.
Length.
The length of it. It says you need a 45, but a 43 should be fine. So yeah, just remember M14 1.5.
45 millimeters.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah, we're gonna do this a different day because there's a lot of issues that were going on, and the spacer didn't fit in the rotor. So I ordered S2000 rotors because apparently you don't need a spacer with that. So I guess I'll just do that. They were gonna sand down the spacers, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather just not run a spacer. So yeah, S2000 rotors. I just don't want to do a bunch of stuff that, you know, we were supposed to start at 11 and it's like 2 o'clock. We wasted like 3 hours for nothing. So we'd rather do it on a day where we have everything good to go and we don't have to go out and get more stuff. And then, yeah, also our friend Min would be there with us, God willing, because he's done this before. We've never. So it'd be kind of nice to have someone that's done it, you know, done it to their car. So he wasn't here today. So hopefully a different day when he is also available, then we can get everything. Because I think we have everything done. I just ordered the rotors. So we should have everything good to go for next time, God willing. So, yeah.
Alright guys, so this is the night before, you know, we're ready to start working for the day tomorrow. If we're not done by 5 p.m., we're taking it all off.
And we're starting at 9 a.m.
Yeah. 8 hours.
8 hours to do brakes.
I feel like that's like more than plenty time.
Yeah. Some people could do a full engine swap in that amount of time, half of it.
Yeah, so I'm going to get up at 8:30 and we're going to finish before 12, God willing. So 3 hours.
It should be done.
Better
by then.
believe it.
It should be done by then. But I'm giving us a little bit of leeway just in case.
Good morning, guys. It is a beautiful day here in Bay Area. Today, we are going to be doing my brake change. Now, I remember we tried to do this last week, 2 weeks ago maybe. And it didn't go as planned. There was a lot of issues that were happening. So I was just like, we had wasted like 3 hours doing absolutely nothing. So, well, not doing nothing. Like we were trying to figure some stuff out, but it was just getting too late in the day. So now we're starting today. It's 9 o'clock. And yeah, we're going to be changing my brakes, God willing, to the Brembo swap from the Acura TL Type S. Okay, so we are reunited with the man, Min.
What's up?
And yeah, he's helping us with this whole thing, thank God. Let me just show you his car again. Yeah, he got the FD2 converted FA5. Super clean. So after I took the wheels from him, he put some nice RPF ones on. So he has the Brembo kit, or Brembo swap already on there. So as you can see that, so that's already there. Yeah, that's basically what we're gonna be doing today. And yeah, this is how she sits right now.
Alright guys, so the first thing we did was take off the caliper bolts, which are right here and right here.
So we're having a little bit of issues with this.
Oh, the thing strips.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of issues, but we got one of them out. But you know, these are always not always a problem, but most of the time.
You sure it's not always? Not my car.
Min says they're always a problem.
Not my
These
car.
ones aren't coming out, so the impact screwdriver didn't work, and these won't come off. So we're just drilling into it, and then we're gonna break it off. This is Min's idea, so I think it's gonna work, hopefully, God willing. So yeah, we took off the rotor. I think I showed you guys what we had to do. We had to end up drilling inside of the the bolts. But anyways, so we just drilled out these, which are that's the caliper bracket. So that's where the caliper sits. We drilled it out. This is supposed to be a 9/16. So we drilled it out to a 9/16. Some people say you might want to start at 1/2 and then drill to a 9/16, but we just straight up did. I don't even think we had a 1/2, so we just went straight in. It wasn't honestly too bad. Just you need some WD-40 because it will start smoking, and just to keep it lubricated and easier to spin. But yeah, so we got that done. Now we are taking a donut break. Where'd the donuts go?
All right, so we don't have any protective glasses, and he's gonna be grinding off here and then there. All right, go ahead.
Bro, this is scary as hell, bro. Whoa, boy, whoa. Here, put the glass. Oh, you have glasses. Okay, so as you guys saw, Min was cutting the dust shield, so now it clears. Dude, that is fat as hell, bruh. Ho. I'm actually very, very excited for this. Thank you.
Not you. I'm not.
Yeah. I know.
So there's two options.
Yeah.
Either
We got 18-year-olds watching this, bro.
or you can buy him food. Or
Yeah, I can buy you food. I got you, homie. Where the hell did he go? Oh, he's over here. All right. So I think the biggest problem we've had so far is getting these extended studs in. Now, let me show you the issue that we're having. So basically, when getting these on, what we had to do, I don't know why other people didn't have to do this, but what we had to do is shave away some of this, a part of the hub, so that, you know, we could, because you see the issue we're having is if you hammer these in, it'll mess up the threads. And the way you get these on is you basically screw it onto the hub, and then you take a lug nut and a spacer. You have to get like a special spacer for it, but get a lug nut and a spacer, put the spacer on and get the lug nut on, and then you twist it around. And the problem with that is if you're doing that and the bolt strips, it's not gonna be fun. So we had that happen with a couple of them. So that's why we needed to shave it down more, so it was kind of just a direct shot, so you wouldn't strip any of the bolts. So, little update. We got the brake calipers in, we got the pads in, got the rotors in, and the extended studs, thank God. So unfortunately, I didn't want to have to do this, but it's okay, I guess. So I have to run a 15 millimeter. So I'm running a 10 millimeter spacer and then a 5 on top of that. Now I have to do that because my wheel will not clear the caliper. I can get away with 12 millimeter, but we don't have 5 and a 2 or whatever. But yeah, so I'm using a 5 and a 10. Another thing is we didn't have to put a spacer behind the rotor. Now we didn't have to put a spacer behind the rotors because the S2000 rotors, you don't need to do that. For the Acura TL Type S rotors, you do have to do that, but you know, we went with S2000 because we were having some problems with the TL Type S rotors in the previous videos. So anyways, now what we have to do is the master cylinder, change my brake lines because I got stainless steel brake lines, and then bleed the entire system. Hopefully we are almost done, God willing.
All right, guys. I left about a couple hours ago. I had to go shower, see my uncle, eat some dinner. So I'm just pulling back up. Yo, how's it going?
Hey, bro. What's going on?
What's going on? Wheels aren't all on yet?
No, we actually...
I put the back two on.
It's actually yesterday. We went so fast that it's actually yesterday. So
Really?
we time traveled because we were going so fast. I'm getting very lightheaded, dude.
I said at 10 a.m. I thought we were gonna finish at like 2.
2.
Yeah.
What's 2 times 5?
2 times 5 is 10.
10. There you go. So guys, when you're doing the brakes, what you want to make sure that you do is essentially the car, when you do a full master cylinder, you change all the lines and you let a lot of fluid leak out. You have to go bleed all 4 corners. However, if you don't turn on the car and start pumping the brakes, you're not going to have it being pressurized through all the lines and all the system. So what happens is, if Shane presses the brakes, we see that the fluid is going down. Stop. The fluid is going down because it's filling up all those places, and the car is actually
The handbrake's up.
Yeah, the handbrake's up and the car's moving. So yeah, this is something you want to think about.
Keep pressing the brake.
And yeah.
All right, guys. So it's the next day, and you're wondering like, why are you doing this on the next day? Let's just say we finished bleeding at like 8:30 p.m. last night. For some reason, like we didn't like turn on the car so it pumps through the whole system. So we went to put down the car, and it was started rolling.
Started rolling forward with the handbrake up, and the brake was just not working.
There was no fluid in the system, basically. And then we noticed that also while we were filling up the system, that there was leaks.
Yeah, there's two different leaks from the bleeder valve on the rear passenger side and the banjo bolt on the front and left. So the passenger. So we got everything torqued.
Done. Everything's torqued. We also tightened.
As you can see, we put the car down. It's not rolling, thank God. So
yeah. So now time to bed them.
yeah. So basically, I don't know. What are we doing?
So basically what it says for blue stuff, all you need to do is fade 2. Fade 2 is essentially 8 or 10 stops from 80 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour with a good braking force, and then allowing 15 minutes of cooling. So that's what it says for blue stuff.
If you can panic, where the hell are you gonna do that? Okay, because someone's gonna rear end you. Okay, that's great, but why the F 80 to 20?
Because you got a better one.
Yeah, we're just going to a road that's close by to our house. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now we're doing 10 of the stops. We did a little bit of driving on the way here. The brakes are smoking, which is normal, and they stink, which is normal. So yeah, this is the process. What was that, 5? Yeah. So we have 5 more. All right, so they are absolutely smoking, which is normal. They're pretty hot. I'm just wondering what the sound is.
Guys, so the sound that we took a video of, what we think it is, which I'm pretty sure it is because we did this while we were on the road. Basically the brake line is hitting something and it's like flapping and it's making a sound. Hey guys, so this is my 8th gen Civic Si, and basically this is the informational part of the video. We didn't record a lot of the things that were going on because, you know, it was just so flustered and everything that was happening. You know, we just forgot, and we just kind of really wanted to get this brake change done because it took us like 15 hours. But yeah, basically this part of the video I'm going to be telling you guys everything that needs to go into changing all of the brakes and doing the Acura TL Type S Brembo swap to the 8th gen. Basically, so for starters, what you need is obviously the calipers from the Acura TL Type S. You need the brake pads. I got Acura TL Type S brake pad, I'll just say Acura. I got Acura brake pads for the front and 8th gen brake pads for the rear. I did EBC blue stuff. You can really go with whatever pad you want. And then I got rotors. You need the Acura TL Type S brake master cylinder. And then you also need stainless steel lines, .4 brake fluid. I got extended studs. You probably will need to run extended studs. You may need to run some spacers. So to start off, what you first need to do is take off your old caliper, and you know, you can let it dangle if you want. It doesn't really matter because you're going to be changing out the brake lines to stainless steel ones. Take out the caliper, take off the rotor, and then what you need to do is you need to drill inside of the caliper mounting bracket, basically the 2 little holes that hold the caliper in place. So I believe right now they're probably 7/16. What you need to do is drill it out to a 9/16. People say that you should do from 7/16 to 1/2 and then drill to a 9/16, but we just went straight from 7/16 to a 9/16. You need WD-40 when you're doing this. Another major thing that you need to do, you actually will probably need to do this before you drill out the holes. You need to cut the dust shield. So what we did, we got a angle grinder, and we just cut the dust shield. I'll try to show you which part you need to cut, just for the caliper to fit. But yeah, so once you cut the dust shield and once you drilled out the holes, put everything on. See if your wheel would fit without a spacer. But yeah, put the rotor on, put the caliper on, put the brake pads in, and then just put the wheel on just to see if it'll touch. For me, it did. I did have to run a basically 15 millimeters of spacers. So yeah, I had to run a 10 and a 5, which makes it a 15 millimeter spacer. Some people say that you can get away with 12 with these wheels, but we just had a 10 and a 5, so we just put it on. Oh, also put the wheel on and make sure it fits the stock studs that you have, because if it doesn't, and most likely you will need to run extended studs just because the caliper does come out a lot. So yeah. Now, I know what you may be thinking, 15 millimeters of spacers is a lot. It's really not that bad, honestly. My wheel is not really sticking out that far. Maybe it's sticking out about half an inch. 15 millimeters is not a lot. Yeah, I'm running a pretty wide wheel. I'm running a 17 by 9.5 plus 45. So with the 50, it's basically 17 by 9.5 plus 30. It seems like it would be a very, very aggressive setup. It's really not. I only have a little bit of rubbing on one side for some reason, but yeah. So for extended studs, this was a part where we kind of ran into some issues. You have to hammer out the old studs basically, and then you have to get in the new ones by basically putting them through the stud holes and tapping it in. Now the thing is, we had to, where the hub is, we had to shave off a little bit right in between the caliper mounting bolts, because what would happen is the stud would go in sideways, and when you hammer it in, it would mess up the threads. And so it just created a whole bunch of issues. So you had to do a thing where basically we had to twist the stud on, and then once it got close to the end of the stud, you just hammer it in slightly so you don't mess up the studs. And then I'll show you a picture of what an extended stud looks like on the end. Basically, the way it stays in the hole is it has this little rigid end where you have to get an impact and basically put a special spacer on. But you put a special spacer on, then you put a lug nut on, and you basically impact the stud until it fully gets into the hole. So it's pretty confusing, but hopefully you guys will understand what I'm talking about. So another difficult part was changing out the brake master cylinder. So like I said, you need an Acura TL Type S brake master cylinder. Getting out the old one is kind of difficult. There's basically two nuts that go straight to the brake booster, and you do have to take off the reservoir as well, and then you have to undo the lines. But the difficult part about it was after you get in the master cylinder, the new master cylinder, basically the holes on the 8th gen it goes up and straight out. Okay, there's two holes for the brake lines to feed through. So it goes up and straight out. Now, the brake lines inside the engine, those are fitted to match, it going up and it going straight out. So they'll just screw right in. Now, for the Acura TL Type S one, it's basically straight out and straight out. So you have to end up bending one of the lines. Now, people said, use a pliers to bend the line. I didn't want to do that because it was kind of scratching up the line. So I ended up just bending it with my hand. And they're pretty thin. I thought at first that they wouldn't bend, that they would probably break. But after I just took it with my hand and I bent it to the right way it was supposed to go in order to go into the brake master cylinder, I realized it's not that bad. But yeah, bending it is pretty hard, and making sure it's aligned properly is pretty hard. You want to make sure you don't screw in the bolt, and then it's like a little bit sideways or something, to the point where it strips the nut. So basically, after you have everything in, you have the caliper, the brake lines in, you have the rotors in, the master cylinder. What you need to do next is basically bleed out the entire system. So bleed the brakes, and this part was also a little bit difficult. So I'm going to try my best to explain this. The master cylinder also needs to be bled. So with, I believe, the car off, do the regular bleeding like that you would usually do if you're bleeding the calipers, or the brakes. You have to loosen the lines to the brake master cylinder. When you do that, once you see fluid dripping out of it, it should be fine. So do the front line first and then do the rear line. Once you see fluid dripping out of both, then the master cylinder is fine. Okay, so people say that you start with the wheel that's farthest from the ABS module for this car, if your car does have an ABS module. So I'll just explain what we did basically. Because these are new calipers, we started with the two front ones. We did the front right, and when you're doing it, there's two nipples on it. Basically, you want to start with the one that's on the inside and then move to the one that's on the outside. So we did inside, outside of the right front wheel. Then we did the inside, outside of the front left, and then we moved to the back right, and then we moved to the back left. There's a possibility you need to bleed the car twice. We ended up having to do that. Now, this is a major thing. If you're gonna bleed the car when it's off, after you bleed the system, you need to turn on the car, because for some reason, when the car is turned on and you push the brake, you can push the brake pedal all the way down. That is when it will feed the brake fluid to every single line in the car. So you need to do that, and you need to make sure that someone is there on top of it, pouring in brake fluid to the max line, making sure it doesn't go below the star pattern inside, because if it does, then you'll get more air into the system, which you're going to have to bleed it again. So make sure that after you bleed it, when the car's off, turn on the car and start pumping the gas, or start pumping the brakes, pour in brake fluid, because that will get fluid all the way to every single one. Now, after basically you're done, but I need to tell you guys the torque specs for everything that goes with the brakes. So first we'll start with the brake master cylinder. The mounting nuts to the brake booster are 11 foot-pounds, I believe, and the brake lines are also 11 foot-pounds, so the brake lines to the master cylinder are 11 foot-pounds. Those you can't really torque because you have to use a flare nut wrench. So just do it until it's hand tight. Whatever you think 11 foot-pounds, just make sure, if you're doing it and you're going really hard and you're using a lot of power, it will strip the nut. So don't use that much power. Just once it gets tight, just a little bit more, and it should be fine. For the brake lines, so the banjo bolt that's basically where the brake line goes into the caliper, and there's a bolt on there. You torque that to 25 foot-pounds for the front and the rear. Okay, the brake line to the body. So when you put the stainless steel lines in, there's one part that goes to the caliper and there's one part that goes to the body. You can't really torque it. Again, just do it kind of tight, not way too tight. Just do it kind of tight. The bleeder bolts. So the bleeder bolts, those need to be 6 to 7 foot-pounds of torque. You can actually torque those. So do that for all of the bleeder bolts around. For us, basically what had happened is once we dropped the car, we didn't even turn on the car when we were bleeding it. So what had happened is when we turned on the car, the pedal went all the way to the floor. I had no braking pressure. The car started rolling forward. Yeah, and there was 2 leaks. There was one from the front right banjo bolt and the rear left bleeder bolt. So make sure that front right banjo bolt is to 25. That rear bleeder bolt is to 6. All the banjo bolts are 25. All the bleeder bolts are 6 to 7 foot-pounds. Okay, so make sure you do that. And then, yeah. Okay, so once you basically have everything done, you've put everything on, you put the brake master cylinder on, you bled the brake master cylinder, you bled all the brakes, you can put the car down, and, make sure everything is torqued. Again, make sure your wheels are torqued. And now you can start the bedding process. So for the latest EBC Blue stuff, they say for the bedding process, what you need to do is you need to go from 80 to 20. Basically, go up to 80 miles an hour, slam on the brakes until 20 miles an hour, let it cool off a little bit. I don't know. We did like maybe 30 seconds in between. We did that about 10 to 15 times. Now, the bedding process is not the same for every pad. That's just what it says for the blue stuff. But like for G-locks, it's different. For Hawk pads, it's different. You know, it's different for every pad. So just search up what you need to do in order to bed it. But yeah. And for EBC blue stuff, their street track pad, they're pretty good, thank God. Especially since now that I have 4 pistons instead of 1 piston. But another really good one Ben just got were our G-locks. He got G-lock, I don't know which type, but he got G-lock brakes for his car, and he only has 1 cylinder in his caliper, and those things stop really fast. So hopefully I explained everything pretty well. But yeah, again, I'm sorry that we didn't. This happens a lot where we get very flustered with everything that we're doing, and we end up forgetting to record a lot of the stuff. So I basically felt obligated to, try to explain everything as the best as I could. I'll put some videos in the description on how to take out the old master cylinder and put in a new one. It's basically the same thing for the Acura TL Type S. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. That is the brake change on my 8th gen Civic Si to Brembo. It looks a lot better, and yeah, thank God, they work pretty well now. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.